Welcome. We are back another day in the market, final stream of the week. How's everybody doing? We had CPI numbers this morning, and we have the February inflation rate being the highest in 40 years. Crude oil prices rose again today after the pullback the last couple of days. The energy stocks were up. Most other sectors were down. And that's pretty much what happened today. So we'll talk about everything. Really, it wasn't too much of a crazy day. There wasn't a lot of price action after the open that was like notable. So we might just be doing like extra ticker requests tonight. So yeah, we're gonna start off with Bitcoin. Not great. It kind of hit this 42.2K resistance I showed you all last night on stream, and it just pulled back. It kind of gave up all the gains from yesterday, which is when you had the report come out on crypto regulation from the White House, I believe. It gave about an 8% move up for Bitcoin, and then it just was given back, unfortunately. So it's kind of like that did not really even happen. 1 second. So yeah, you pretty much just gave all those gains back and you fell back down. It looks like you're retesting like 40K. Just still nothing. Just still gotta wait for more data on Bitcoin. Still in the same range. You know, really not much to update on. It's just bullets, bears. Neither can really take control. Same thing for Ethereum. You're literally sitting in the middle of a triangle. So it's just really hard to use technicals on higher time frames for cryptos right now. So crude oil futures, they closed red, I believe, but in the morning they were up, and then you start off towards the end of the day, it looks like, so if I'm reading that correctly. But this is interesting, because you now retested, so you broke above this resistance zone, and now you retested it as resistance, which is very, very interesting. This was resistance in 2013 and 2011, and now it is resistance yet again. So it's kind of, you had a breakout with no back test, no confirmation, and then you had a breakdown, and now you potentially have a back test. So if you have a follow-up red day, that is pretty much a confirmed breakdown back under resistance. And that is all taking place after the bearish engulfing candle that we did talk about last night for oil. So you have that occurring for gold. Let's take a look at spot. So that bearish engulfing candle, really nothing has happened since. You've kind of been going sideways for a day or two now. Might be back towards this little range over here. Let's call it, we could even pull this back over here. You can see its previous resistance, it flipped into a support over here, kind of between like 1958 and 2000 on those lower time frames. One interesting thing is you could get 4-hour hidden bullish divergence. I want to go see if crude oil futures are showing the same thing really quickly. They are. Actually, no, because you made a lower low. So no hidden bullish divergence on crude oil futures. So that's gold for the most part. Remember, we talked about even if it does pull back here, you still have the potential for something like this happening. A cup. And then if this pullback continues, a handle potentially. We'll see. Doesn't mean anything until you break above this, 2070 resistance area. The dollar bounced up. Remember we talked about how this back tested a previous supply line, flipped it into a demand line. Now it bounced up after doing so, which is pretty interesting. Not much of any edge apart from that. The Hang Seng Index is not open. Decent bullish pin bar over there. And silver bounced up. We talked about how this filled the gap and was back testing a previous resistance as a support yesterday. And it was up 1% today. So if this holds, this could eventually take it to 25.25. We'll see what happens. What is up? Zeke, Nerve, Plebere, Neff, Eric, D, KTF, Chatter Freeze. Hit the like button. We got almost 20 people in here. So what's up on your way in. And let's start talking about stocks. There's not too much to update on. Really no changes on higher time frames. You had a huge bounce back day yesterday. Today you pulled back a bit after the CPI numbers. Not much. You gapped it down, and then you just kind of spent the day rallying up a bit. You did not, however, fill the gap. So you gapped it down. We still have yet to see gap fills to the upside, but also to the downside on some indices. So let's delete this for a second. and you have gap fills in both directions, okay? In both directions, there are gap fills. You gapped up on the 9th. Let's see what day that was. Yesterday you gapped up. So you gapped up yesterday, you never filled that gap. And then you also gapped down today and you never filled that. So you have gaps to both directions on the QQQ. The levels I just showed you, I can show them again really quickly. These are your gap fill levels if you want to take a screenshot. And then I'm sure the SPY has the same thing. If we were to delete these are your gap fill levels in both directions on the S&P 500. So much closer to the upside gap fill, but it's definitely not filled. So on lower time frames, those are two levels you can focus on. Also on lower time frames, I shared this chart yesterday on Twitter. It was pretty cool. I shared some, for those of you in the Discord, I shared some calls down over here that ended up running like 200-300% after going down first. So there was those calls, and then right when we were getting up to this resistance area, I tweeted, when actually Discord was down at the time, but I tweeted, look for some resistance, and you definitely saw that resistance. I can't tell. Yeah, this was the 8th. It was Tuesday. And then you pretty much hit that resistance, but if you take a look, you retested that same resistance zone. You couldn't break above it yesterday, and then today you gapped down, then you bounced right off this support. This is 421, which dates back to a low from January 24th. So you bounced off of January 24th's low today, and then you pretty much rallied and never really filled the gap. Futures are pretty flat. So those are like your lower time frames and higher time frames. You're just kind of sandwiched in between support and resistance. On one hand, you have this low from October, that's your resistance now at 426. On the other hand, you have a couple highs over here and your January 24th low and today's low as your support around 420, 421. So that's the S&P. The QQQ, I'd say supports, down in this area, really anywhere between 316 and 321 from these lows over here and a couple lows recently. And then resistance again is this blue zone, which used to be resistance multiple times before, and even support back at the end of January. The Russell 2000 is still within its range between 188 and 205, so there's not much to be said. You still have the potential for a partial decline over here. And one other thing, the 1 hour charts are pretty interesting because now you're starting to see potential higher lows, right? From yesterday into today across the board. Let me delete that. You're starting to see these potential higher lows taking place. If you go look at, the lows from Tuesday, probably is a better way to put it, to today, you're seeing you made these initial lows earlier in the week, and now you're trying to make a higher low after the rally you just saw, which is pretty interesting as well. Because that'll pretty much be like your third higher low if you really look at it. You're making higher lows for the first time in a while. So that's the QQQ, the QQQ, the SPY, the Russell. ARC, really nothing changed at all. It's just still in the wedge. 61's a big level. If it can't break back above that and hold it, then $50 could be next, which is a PCC of bullish bat. And then the NASDAQ, nice little rally into the close like the other indices. But really just not much update on that. So I kind of think we're probably just going to be spending a little bit more time on ticker requests tonight. The markets really didn't do too much that I can really talk about. Amazon closed up 5% today after the split we talked about last night. It has actually used 28.85 as low of day, which is this support I showed you all last night on stream, dating back to these three lows. So it pretty much opened up over here, back tested this support on the daily, and then it went back up all the way up to like 29.73 at one point, and then pulled back into the close. I actually shared some puts on Amazon with premium members like in these areas, and they went up 30% in about half an hour. And Tesla, I was talking a lot about Tesla last night. It was down quite a bit at one point today. It was down like 5%. It just kind of gapped down with the market and took some time to recover. But eventually it did recover, and it ran pretty much into the close from like 1:30 until the close. Tesla was just running, but the first half of the day was pretty tough. But however, you did kind of create this, pin bar candle. However, you did also give the 200 moving average. It's just kind of sandwiched in between levels. So still very, very close. Go back and watch last night's stream about Tesla. A lot of it is still pretty much the same exact thing. You're only down 2% today. So most of what I said last night on stream on Tesla still could potentially be in play. The wedge, all the stuff on the weekly, there's still a chance for all of that. CLOV was flat today. There's really nothing update there. Same for Fisker.
It's been a while since I did one of these. I appreciate the last year's worth of education you've given us.
D with the 1111 lucky number tip. Thank you very much. And yeah, really appreciate the support. I'm just not used to it. I mean, there's not been as many tips as of lately, so that sound like popping up in my ear was like, wait, what just happened? But I really appreciate it. That's the first tip in a while, in weeks, I believe. So thank you very much. And thank you for all the support you've shown. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, vibes in the chat. I'm just not used to it anymore, so really appreciate it. I don't know if you said anything in the chat. Earlier you said, is that a beard? Yeah, I'm starting to grow a little bit of a beard. We'll see what happens. But it's weird because over here grows a lot quicker than like the side. Like I'm still trying to grow it here, but it just doesn't really grow that fast compared to over here. And even like it looks a lot like, I guess, thicker. Like in person, I guess. Not on camera, it's just kind of like, I guess the shading just kind of throws it off. But yeah. All right, so vibes in the chat. And CLOV and Fisker, they just really didn't move much today. So there's nothing for me to really update there. CLOV has actually just been spending some time, which isn't bad. It's just been going sideways. But at the same time, you know, it just went up 50, it went up 50% from its earnings. And it's not giving back the gains as of right now, which is pretty interesting. So it's just consolidating. Whichever way this breaks could be telling for the next move on CLOV. That's really all I can say. Fisker is actually still testing that neckline of the inverse head and shoulders I mentioned last night on stream. It tried to break out multiple times today, but it is nice to see it's starting to make a little bit of price action. You know, it is making lower highs, but also higher lows. So we'll see. It also did break out on the 1 hour. We talked about this triangle on Fisker last night. Just trying to break out of the supply line. So that's Fisker. In terms of the swings, they were down a little bit today. Nothing really changed. Facebook, I mean, obviously there's like the long-term swing on Facebook, but keep an eye on this wedge on the 1 hour chart. It's been in this for over a month in this one exact pattern, and you've tested the supply multiple times. You've not broken out yet. You're testing it again. Will be interesting. It also has this gap fill up over here on 198. So keep an eye on this pattern. Chart this on your 1 hour. See if it breaks out and gives you some confirmation. There's really nothing for me to update on Facebook on the daily. Still potential dragon pattern, and that's pretty much it. And then Smile Direct Club, nothing really. It's 2 cents under the entry. It was a little bit lower in the day, and then it rallied towards the close. We got to zoom out here. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. We're talking about a 2-year-long pattern. A stock that went from $15 to $2, lost 87% of its, probably more. 1 second. It lost 87% of its value in, in about 400 days. So we'll see what happens. And energy stocks were up today, bouncing back. We can look at something like OIH. It's an oil services ETF. This actually, so he's had this big inflection zone from this low and these highs. Broke above it, back tested it for the last 2 days, and now it's trying to break back above it again. So potential break hook can go there. Marathon Oil, this fell back under a big level, which is 24.23 from these lows and this high, and it's still under it. XLE, Energy Select Sector, is still under resistance, around 78 to 79 is resistance. It broke above it. That one actually scared me. Wow, that like literally, oh my gosh.
A little something.
Nobody clipped that. Somebody's gonna. I already know somebody's gonna clip that. That's gonna be in memes. Oh my gosh, that was so loud. Wow. Nerve. Thank you for the. Oh, we're getting the lucky numbers today. The 777. So we have the 1111 and the 777. A little something for Champ's tip jar. I appreciate it. I gotta put the tip jar back on the stream. I forgot about that with the new overlay. Nerve, another day one in the chat. Really appreciate it. Vibes in the chat for Nerve. Appreciate you too. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the 777. Wow, my heart's like racing now. That was, well, I forgot that sound. So that's XLE, and then XME is metals and mining ETF, which is also trying to make new highs. So you had that 2-day pullback on oil while the market rallied a bit, and now you're going again. You're going again on oil. You're trying to put in new highs. But it's not necessarily, oil is probably not the right word to use. Let's say energy stocks, because oil was actually pulling back. So I was a little bit off right there. So that's what we've got going on there, and that's really it. It's just not much to talk about today. So the stream's not over right now. We're gonna just pretty much do ticker requests for most of the stream tonight, I guess. So hopefully there's charts for us to look at. Yeah, if I had tea, it definitely would have been spilled. So if you want me to look at a chart, Medi with a 3. Oh my gosh, he did this on purpose too. Thank you for all of the W's, Medi. A lot of W. Let's get some more W's in the chat. Keep it rolling. Get some vibes in the chat. Appreciate all the tips coming in. Yeah, thank you for the 3. Hope you're doing well, and just know if we ever boxed, you'd lose. That's exactly how my beard started coming in. Yeah, I don't know. I've done like just this part before. This is the first time I'm trying to grow the sides out too a little bit. Wow, chat's looking good right now. I haven't seen the chat like this in a while. Appreciate it, everybody. So yeah, drop tickers in the chat as well. If you want me to look at any stocks, cryptos, whatever it is, drop tickers in the chat. That's pretty much all we're doing for the rest of the stream. Remember, this is the final stream of the week. I'm not sure if I'm gonna stream Sunday. If tomorrow's like a crazy day and we have like a lot to talk about going into next week, I will. Otherwise, I'll just stream on Monday. But we do have FOMC next week. All right, so we have one, it looks like. So yeah, keep hitting the like button. OXY, there's not much to do at this point. I mean, you know, from a technical standpoint, it's kind of going straight up, which makes it a lot harder to chart. One thing I will say is it's pretty important that it got above this level, this $57 level. It's a very big level. It's above it. You had a bullish engulfing candle yesterday. Still a little bit of consolidation and resistance in these areas. If it breaks above this level and actually can hold it, I'd say your next level is going to be 61 from this high over here. If it can't hold this level, you have this low from yesterday at $51. And then another level could be 47 from this over here. And 2 days in March 2nd and 3rd. So that's OXY. Thoughts on double gaps? TER chart confusion. We'll take a look at it. I think if you're talking about just like an upside and downside, we were just talking about that on the S&P 500 and the QQQ, which both have upside and downside gaps on lower time frames, or just in general. It just kind of makes like a 50-50. I don't know what the actual statistics are behind it. I'd probably focus more on the gap that you're closer to, though. End phase, PayPal. Okay. LOTZ. So we're gonna start off with the Dow Jones. Chatter said right angled wedge on the daily, then the DAX index. So clearing up the chart, first thing right away, classic bullish divergence. I know most of the other indices already confirmed it and are pretty much already played out, but this one's just now developing it. So you're most likely just talking about this right here. So, but it is wrong button. Yeah, it is testing breakdown. It looks like of this right angled descending grounding wedge. However, it could also be looked at like this. You could chart it like this, or maybe even like that. So there's a couple different ways to view it. And it did actually find support at the 23% retrace from the COVID crash low to an all-time high. And then the DAX. This is in a very big make or break area, it seems. So all of this resistance from 2017, 2020, and the end of 2020, and even support in 2021, it's retesting this area. So I would pay attention to which way it breaks. And those are the other levels I see. So you see it bounce, or pretty much putting a low here a couple days ago, and that actually was a high back in April of 2015. So we're talking about the double gaps on TER. Yeah, so I see this gap right over here, but the other one you're talking about, I'm not really seeing. Maybe this. This might be a different one than what you're looking at, but let's just use that one for an example. So you can see that you're closer to the lower gap. So, you know, maybe that has a little bit more of potential for if we're getting there first, just not necessarily in terms of probability, it's just closer to that percent wise. So that's really it. I'd say overall, this is just kind of in this little range over here since a big gap down. And even more so, you actually have a range between 105 and 139, which it broke out of over here. It went up for a little bit. It was trying to back test it heading into earnings or something, it looks like, and then it just kind of flopped right after earnings. Now it's back at the bottom of the range. So Cleveland Cliffs, I haven't looked at this in a while. Very interesting. It's pretty much testing the top of a range here. And you definitely did spring here. So it's kind of white coffee in. So this is your potential breakout point. You haven't really confirmed a breakout. It seems you're just testing this high from August 13th and October 26th. So we'll see if it can break out, back test it, whatnot. And I'd say there's a level at 28.53, 32.37. I mean, there's a lot you could chart here. There's a lot of data on this chart. Wow. So those are some potential next levels if it does break out of this range. End phase, another energy name, trying to break back above the 200 moving average side or make or break area. Just testing this resistance. If it breaks above it, I'd say the next one would be around 204 and then 228. If it can't, then I'd say support's around 152. PayPal, I don't know. I'm completely clueless about it. All I could really do is just like chart levels. There's nothing else I can really do on this one. So I'm just gonna look for the highs and lows. It's a gap fill right over here. So yeah, those are the levels I would chart for PayPal. LOTZ, this one got crushed. Kind of looks like a slide or something. I don't know. So it's pretty. It looks like so if we take a look at this like a slide, this is how some people do technical analysis. They'll be like, all right, so we have our slide, and then we have this guy at the bottom of the slide. He just finished sliding down the slide, and then maybe he'll stand up or something. I don't know. I have no clue what I'm doing right now, honestly. There's just not much I can do here. I would just like to see us make higher highs and higher lows, and I'd probably do fundamental analysis more than technical analysis on a name like this right now. BABA got crushed. They go on the weekly. So the swing stopped out. It's still selling off more, so that stop did help. I believe the stop was right under this support. I think it was around like 109. The support was like 110, 111. So now it's down to 92. Next area I see is 86 from this over here and these highs. So those are your two levels I focus on. Whichever way it breaks first could be telling. Palantir, testing the supply line of this wedge and trying to break back above your lows from January. Good. If it can break that, that's good. Even on the 4-hour, you could chart maybe a little bit of a triangle here and see which way that breaks out. And there is a gap fill at 1378. AFRM. I'd probably just look at like this. So it's still in a downsloping wedge. I don't really see much to talk about apart from that, and those are all my levels. So I just take it level by level. Support here as well. FUBO, same thing pretty much as a firm. It's just downsloping, just still in its downtrend. You know, a lot of these stocks, they just remind me of the ARK ETF. It's just still doing its thing. I just like to see higher highs and higher lows taking place, and the levels are charted pretty much. SOXL semi ETF supports 28 very, very clearly, and then resistance around 44. Those are the two major levels. Here's another level, 22, and then another one, 49. Those are your levels. Just look at the levels. Don't try and overcomplicate things when things are so, or takers or charts when things are so volatile and there's just news all the time. Just look at the levels, see how levels are reacted to. That's probably what I focus on more than anything else in times like these, rather than trying to look for the divergence and even the patterns and harmonics. I just want to see how the stocks are reacting to historical levels where you bounce or reject, support or resistance. Like, I'd probably take more of a Wyckoff approach to the market than any other approach right now. That's just how I look at it, right? You have markups, you have consolidations, markdowns, repeat the cycle. Sometimes you have reaccumulation. Sometimes you have different forms of accumulation and distribution. That's how I take a look at most of the stocks right now in the market, because you really see just a lot of these like textbook Wyckoff charts, not necessarily in terms of Wyckoff ranges, but a lot of the other things he teaches. You're just seeing the major markups, the major markdowns. You're seeing those types of markups in energy, the markdowns in small caps, mid caps, whatnot. Yeah, I found major support at the bottom of the slide. That's a good one, KTF. So yeah, I guess that'll be it for tonight. Half an hour stream, just cool little way to end the end the week. Cool little way to end the week. So thank you for watching the stream. Thank you for the tips tonight. First tips in a while. Really appreciate it, even though one of them did scare me. So have a good night, have a good weekend, and join the Discord. The link is in the description. If you want to join premium, the prices will be raising at the end of the month. If you're interested in what is in premium, it's in the description. And there's a walkthrough video and there's a full description on the sign up page. So go check that out if you're interested. Join the Discord, and if you want to donate crypto to Ukraine, that's also the first link in the description. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in Discord. Peace out.